guys, and welcome to Annabelle and Ben's Antics, and today I am going to be taking on an interesting challenge where I'm going to aim to wear all handmade clothes for an entire week. I have just finished this beauty and I do believe that brings us to more than enough outfits to, well, actually do that really. So the plan, I have to wear nothing except clothing that I've made for an entire week. And one, see if I can do it. I think I've got enough clothes. I did count before I did this challenge, you know, didn't want to get halfway through and realise I need to make more. Ooh, that would be bad. And two, experience what it's like to, if I say living the old-fashioned way, it just doesn't sound right. But once upon a time, people did only wear clothes they made, and well, I'd kind of like to try that out. And also to see what's missing from my wardrobe that I still need to make. At the end of the day, I kind of make things because they're fun, or I like it, or I happen to have this fabric that would look good with this pattern. I don't often make things because I need them. I think this could be interesting to see what it is I actually need versus what it is I have. And with that, I will see you guys in the morning for the first outfit reveal. This dress was made as part of my stash swap I did with some other costumers, and the fabric was sent to me from Retro Claude. And a quick side note for this video is that every outfit I am wearing has its own making of video, so I will make sure to link all of them in the description down below should you want to check any of them out. With the opening of Orinoco not far off, I packed a little tool bag and went to service their vintage sewing machines that they would be selling, only setting aside one or two for myself and picking up one for a friend who wanted something old and reliable. They had such an awesome collection of machines, though, that if you do live around Banbury in the UK, you should definitely pop in to check them out. They're always getting new ones, and as much as I'm not servicing them anymore, I've never brought a bad machine from them. And for those people who follow me for the vintage sewing machine content, just look at some of these beauties. If I had more time, I would honestly have borrowed all of them and done a video on every single one, but honestly at this point I just don't, and it's a real shame, but still, aren't they just so pretty? Soon enough, all the machines were done, and I got to take a few minutes to look around the nearly open shop, and oh my gosh, it just looked fantastic. Okay, so that has been a nice long day doing sewing machines, helping organise the shop, but they are opening in a few days. I am sadly going to miss it because I will be at work, but such is life, and now we go home and carry on. So I don't know how many of you guys have seen the mess that is my table, but essentially these are all jars of buttons and some bags of buttons. Most of these have been sat on this table for at least 3 months, and today we're going to sort them out using moonshine jars, as demonstrated here, because I was a moonshine dealer last Christmas and all of the taster jars I got to keep, lovely sticky toffee, and me and Ben started washing them up so that we could put buttons in them sorted by colour. However, I have 4 boxes here, none of which have been washed, and so have not been able to finish sorting them, so that is going to be today's job. I used sticky stuff remover, rough fabric scraps and hot water to scrub the sticky labels off all the jars in the 2 boxes before I dried them up and sat down to sort my buttons, which honestly proved better and worse than I expected. On one hand, the jars that got done were very neat and tidy. On the other, turns out I had way more buttons than I expected and I ran out of jars. Oops, but that is a problem for another day. I made this dress as part of Guinea Saxoween, and it has to be one of my favourite makes because just look at the swoosh of that skirt. Okay, so we have just been to the vet because little ones needed to have their vaccines. Now they are having their breakfast reward because whenever we go to the vet they always give them extra food when we come back as a thank you. And aren't you a good little kitty cat, Sherlock? Absolutely does not care about me, but that is good. So we have about half an hour to chill and relax and just, I don't know, do a little bit of sewing. And then my mum and dad are actually coming over this weekend, so we're going to go into Oxford and I think we're doing a walking tour, which is going to be fun because I live in Oxford but don't know it loads. I normally go in, go out, do what I need, so that should be good. Before the tour, we went into a weird sweet shop where I found all these Sailor Moon sodas for sale that looked so cool. No, I didn't buy any as I am fussy with my drink flavours, but I can appreciate the artwork. The walking tour was super fun. We got to see several Harry Potter and Morse filming locations. We went inside a couple of universities and saw the street in which C.S. Lewis got the inspiration for The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. One of my favourite locations was the University Church. I mean, just look at that ceiling. Also, this entryway with a book above it was also pretty damn cool. It was great spending time with my parents, and it was nice to be able to take this dress out for a spin as I honestly don't wear it nearly enough. Oh, and it turns out that there's this giant underground bookshop in Oxford that I have been in several times but never discovered the basement, and how have I been here for nearly 2 years and never found this place? Not to mention that they also had all these really old fancy books for sale that just look like they belong on a witch's bookshelf. This dress is one of my favourites. I made it last year to go see Mary Poppins in, and it's made from some old Liberty curtains. Okay, my house is just like an utter mess because I'm in between several projects at the moment. I'm doing some like experiments which I set up after pyjama time last night and doing some mock-ups and sewing and all that. I am going to make a really odd fashion choice today and you guys just kind of have to forgive me for it. But I'm going to be doing loads and loads of walking today. It's not a day off work, but it is a night shift, so you know, we've got pretty much the entire day. I could wear these nice Victorian boots that I have. I'm going to be wearing my sparkly Dorothy shoes because for the amount of walking I'm doing, these are going to be way more comfy. It's going to be a weird combination, but you just got to trust me, okay? It's fine. But okay, so plan for today is I need to go into town. I also need to get passport photos done, which is why I've chosen this dress for today, because I wanted to get my photo taken in something that I had made, which I thought would be really, really cute. And I also need to buy cat food. And those are my 3 to-dos today, and I've got to come home and then get some sleep before I go to my night shift. Okay, so that is the passport photos done. Now to go and get cat food, and then we can do the fun stuff, which is sewing machines. I then made my way to buy cat food before going into Orinoco to have a look at the now open shop and pick up the things that I'd set aside for myself while helping set it up. After that, it was time to drive home before unpacking all my goodies. Hi, hello, I am back at home. We have quite a few things to unpack, but before I put it in the wash because it smells like it's come out of a really bad smoker's home, there's this gorgeous patchwork quilt that I just had to show you because it looks like it's all hand stitched and I am very, very impressed. Now, I'm gonna start off by saying that all this stuff is stuff that I've put aside over the course of about 6 weeks while helping them move shop. I normally don't buy this much at once, so this is excessive even for me. But let's have a look at what we've got. So the first thing I got was this little Dylon cake thing, which is koala brown, and this is going to be used for my autumn leaf dress, which we'll be able to link the video somewhere, I'm sure. We also got these 2 lengths of black cord, which I'm going to use as ties for my newspaper dress, so I am very excited about that because that is exactly what I needed. Over the last year, I've been working on gathering various random weird vintage sewing tools so that I can do a video about them, and today I came across some cordless power scissors, which they didn't know if they worked or not, and we didn't have any batteries to test them, so they basically gave them to me half price because again, they haven't actually tested them and we're not sure if they work, but they're like, didn't go that way up. They're just a bit odd. Not necessarily bad, it's just a bit strange. And on weird vintage sewing tool notes, I also found this little pot of stuff called Supermend. It says it's supposed to come with a leaflet that has instructions. It does not have the leaflet with instructions, but it doesn't look like it's been opened. So I'm gonna see if I can look up the instructions online and we can use this. I also got a brown shoelace, which will go with another vintage style thing that I'm going to make for autumn, so that's good because I like using shoelaces as my ties because they're nice and strong and don't often break. While we were there, we also got 2 lots of buttons. I got these cute little seashell buttons and these cute little pink buttons. No idea what I'm using these for. These, I have a project in mind, which you will have to wait to see. Thread-wise today, I actually got really lucky and I found this large white reel of thread. I needed some new white thread, so I'm pretty pleased that I found this, and it's nice and strong, and I'm pretty sure it's 100% cotton. I also got these 2 gold embroidery threads. I am gradually gathering metallic embroidery threads I find in secondhand stores for a project which is really, really large and probably isn't going to happen for like a year, but it's a really big one and I need a lot of thread, so I was super chuffed to find these. Now, I found this tiny amount of purple fabric and I am 90% sure it's from Liberty's and it is gorgeous. Unfortunately, there's not that much of it, but I am gathering Liberty scraps that I found in that shop and others to make a patchwork quilt with, so this will just go in the stash. I'm not sure how well this is going to show up on camera, but this is a printed cross stitch, which looks super, super cute. It's got a border for display and everything. It's of a lighthouse and a little cottage and a beach, and I just kind of figured it'd be a fun project to do in the evenings when I'm not necessarily working on big cosplays. Now, this next thing is not something I brought. It was something that one of the staff members at the shop picked out specifically for me because she thought I would like it. And, oh, one moment, it's this gorgeous red velvet, which I immediately, as soon as I saw it, was like, oh great, I can use this for Bilbo's dressing gown. And then she showed me that someone's been hand smocking stuff on it. And the thing is, we don't have a pattern for this smocking, so maybe I can just use that area, but there is on the back lots and lots of coloured threads, so I'm hoping that if I get some help from some of my friends who sew a lot, I might be able to figure out what the pattern is so that I could smock this entire piece and use it for something really, really pretty. I also got a couple of books. When I was doing the sewing machines for them, I found this random singer sewing machine manual, which does not match any machine that they have in the shop, so I don't know quite where it's come from. However, what it does match is one of the machines in my collection that I don't have a manual for, so they were nice enough to give this to me as a thank you for basically doing their machines. I then also got these really cool books. This one is about thread painting, which I really love thread painting, and there's an Australian lady who does loads of it, and I already have her book, but I've never seen anyone else do it, so this was definitely coming home with me. And my other book that I got was Victorian Household Hints, which just looks super cute. And I'm going to read this cover to cover and page to page because there's loads of like recipes in there and how to get out stains and how to pickle walnuts apparently. And it just seems like a really cool thing. The other thing that I got was this lovely dark blue velvet. There's a little bit less here than I actually thought there was, so I'm slightly disappointed about that. However, this is the last piece that I needed for my Ariel cosplay, which I think I've been talking about since the beginning of the year, but that's it. Everything's patterned. I have every piece of fabric that I need, so now we can actually make something with this, and I should cut that out soon, I suppose. And talking of cosplays, I don't know if you guys have seen my video about when I made a Nemo dress, but at the end of that video I mentioned that should I make a Dory dress too? The resounding answer to this was yes, but I had no fabric in Dory Blue, and I thought about this fabric and I went to Orinoco while we were moving shops and I searched for it everywhere because at one point they had nearly 50 meters of this and I just couldn't find it, so I figured they'd sold it all. It's really nice, some kind of crepe. And today I went in and they'd found a roll in the back room, remembered I think that I wanted some and had set it aside for me, and I just brought the whole thing because it's a really nice fabric and I think I'm going to use quite a lot for Dory. The other thing I got for Dory is this gorgeous yellow fabric. It is a cotton, I think. It's a little bit thin, but it's going to be an underlayer and used as a pliques, so I think this should be perfect. And again, there's quite a bit of it. Possibly a bit too much, but there's so many characters out there with yellow dresses and decorations on their clothing. I don't think this was a bad choice. This is what I've brought for my Christmas Barbie dress. The red was the only thing that I didn't have in my stash. It's exactly the same fabric as the blue, some kind of crepe. Absolutely gorgeous. There's loads here, so I think I should have more than enough to make something else after the Barbie dress. Not quite sure what yet, but we'll figure that one out later. The other thing I was going to get for Barbie was some nice gold netting. I didn't need a lot, just enough to go around the collar, and I found this, which I'm really, really pleased about because this would have cost me about £15 had I ordered it online, and I got it for not that, essentially. And it's so sparkly. Also, for my Halloween stuff, I found this nice brown. I am not quite sure what kind of fabric it is. It's a little bit heavier. But you know what? I went through the entire shop 3 times looking for a brown that I could use, and eventually found this one, and this was perfect because the only other one that I found which might have worked, there was so little of it, it would have been a real push to get it all done. Like I could have, but it would have been a real push. Whereas now, I don't have to worry about it. They've also started selling costumes there, which is good because it's where I donate a lot of stuff that I don't want. And I managed to get this skirt and shirt, not for any particular character. They are glittery, they are fun, and I will pop them on and show you, I suppose. They're just a bit different, they're a bit sparkly. I thought they'd be cute, and they're nice and lightweight, ready and perfect for Australia. Now, we do have these 3 sewing machines, but if you want to see those, you're going to have to tune in. Sewing machine day is first Wednesday of every month. We have a Benina, which I know definitely works, a vintage Janome, which I think works, and then a vintage Singer, which I actually have no idea, but they're all really cool, really pretty, but I'm not going to show you more than the boxes today because that's for another time. And now that my house is a mess, I'm going to leave it that way while I go and sleep for a few hours before my night shift. So good night, and I will see you guys in the morning. This shirt and skirt was the first cloth kit outfit I made, and damn, I love it. This day felt very higgledy-piggledy, to be honest, as I just could not focus on anything, but I did manage to film the end of one YouTube short and the whole of another, which, as I'm not making a video about it, I'm just going to show here. So I just brought this vintage patchwork quilt from a charity shop. Problem is that though she's beautiful, she smells like someone's been smoking on her for like 50 years. Ugh. To get the smell out, I'm going to pop her into the washing machine, as well as my normal washing powder and fabric softener and some bicarbonate of soda. Quite a lot of bicarbonate of soda. I'm pretty sure this thing is cotton, so we're going to leave it on the cotton setting, but I'm going to do a time saver, and we're just going to take it down to 30 degrees because normally I wash everything on cold, but you need it on warm so that the fibres of the fabric open and all of that good stuff has the chance to get inside. We're also going to do maximum spin because I don't own a dryer, and start. Once it's done, make sure to hang it up outside in sunlight and where it can catch the breeze. And that is how you get the smell of smoke out of a vintage quilt. Much better. Wouldn't you agree, girly bear? So a little while ago, I brought this beautiful vintage quilt. Absolutely no regrets because, oh my gosh, she is stunning. And the best bit is that she's all hand stitched. However, she's got a few areas of damage. So today, we're going to try and get these fixed. Now, because she's vintage, there is no way that I'm going to be able to find matching fabric. However, luckily, I have this bag of spare quilting fabric that I'm sure we can find something similar in. Right, we've got our 2 pieces, now to give them a press. We've got a needle and some thread, so let's get sewing. And this is the result. Once you get far away, you can barely see it. This one's a little bit more obvious, but still pretty darn good. And now, to go to bed. Oh, God, that was hard work. Good night. Okay, so today is probably going to be a little bit crazy. I have quite a lot of projects that I'm trying to do. I also just found my Hobbit shirt that I half made last year, which was like the only thing that I actually did towards my Hobbit cosplay that was supposed to be happening. So we might see if we can bring that back for cosplay Christmas, because I still have all the fabric for it and I still have the patterns. I think they're somewhere in this mess. We might just try and find them. I have 3 separate projects here on this chair which are pinned ready to sew with white thread, which is what this is for. I have got this silver stuff down here. That is going to be for Halloween. I have my book dress stuff hanging on my bathroom door. That needs stuff stuck to it, so we need to get the sewing done, and then we're going to do that and the leaf dress in the same day. I have a lace flower which I made this morning, which is really, really cute. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, to be honest. I have this massive list of things to do because I need to use up as much fabric as I can, because anything that I don't use I can't necessarily take with me, and it's kind of stressing me out a little bit because I want to be able to take all of this nice stuff with me because I have plans for it, god damn it, but that doesn't mean it is going to happen. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is just do a little bit of sewing, see how much we can get through, and providing everything goes well, I might go and around my friends for dinner tonight and snuggle some puppies, which would be very adorable. So I worked on those projects, did some editing, put a bunch of stuff away, and just did some general cleanup so that everything looked at least semi-organised in my house, because let's face it, it never normally does. Honestly, I was just not focusing that day and actually ended up staying awake most of the night as I got a sudden surge of energy at 3 in the morning. This sudden urge led me to sorting through the boxes my mum and dad had found of mine in their attic and had dropped off the other day when they came to see me. It was super strange looking through all my childhood stuff that I hadn't seen in years, and though some of it got kept, a lot of it went into the back of my car to take to the charity shop when I could. Eventually though, Sherlock was glaring at me as I was clearly interrupting his sleep, so we went to bed. Now, I am going to be very honest here and say that we skipped today. I was just having a bad day and so could not get out of my PJs, though I did make an effort to get some projects done. Today, though, was all about painting the flowers of my newspaper dress. So, of course, I had to put on the one outfit I had made that I am happy to get messy in, which means the cloth kit overalls I made on my mini vintage sewing machine. So, yesterday we did skip a day because I just was feeling so rubbish. But even though I was feeling rubbish, we did work on my newspaper dress and also a little bit with my autumn leaf dress. So today we're going to do all the messy stuff for the newspaper dress, which is the painting, and I don't want to ruin my good clothes. I am wearing a store-bought top because I don't have any homemade shirts that I am willing to destroy, which is fine. So let's get on with that, see how we go, and see what else we have time for today. And so we got painting while binge watching YouTube, and oh my gosh, this took ages, but I loved it. Sewing is great and all, but there is no feeling like having a paintbrush in hand and splattering blood-coloured fluid all over old newspaper. Okay, so super exciting. This just arrived, and I actually don't know what this is. I'm expecting about 3 separate packages. I think this might contain supplies for my Christmas Barbie dress, but let's open her up and see. 2 packages, 3 packages. Okay, let's start with the littlest one first. I love how they are all individually addressed to me and somehow been put in one big bag, but yeah, fine, whatever rolls your boat. So we have some gold ribbon that is for my Barbie dress. So sparkly! This is actually perfect. I didn't realise it had glitter on, which I don't really care. It's for a costume, it should be fine. Alright, let's go this one next. Oh, okay, so these are the appliques. They are way smaller than I was expecting them to be. I hope I have enough. I was expecting them to be bigger. But they look good. They look like they're iron on as well, so that's positive. They should work. I'm sure we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Do the golds particularly match? Not at all, but it will be fine. Oh, okay, this isn't cosplay, this is bras. At least I got 2 Christmas cosplay supplies, so yeah, I need to start cutting out this dress soon because we're getting to the point where I should probably start making it. This dress was part of the Travelling Pattern collab, which, though it has been a little bit silent over the last few months, is actually still ongoing, and I can't wait to see what dress the next person makes using this pattern. I started the day by putting some laundry on and then found this necklace that I brought a while ago, but I don't think I've shown you guys. It's an adorable little cottage, but the best bit is that it opens up like a locket and you can see inside the rooms. We then went to the sewing machine and got stitching my next project, which at the time was my spider skirt. So I've spent most of the day sewing so far, but I think I should take a quick break from it, and downstairs is looking kind of tidy. Need to do the dishes, but you know, that can wait for a moment. However, oh my gosh, I just haven't put my laundry away in like 2 weeks. Don't at me, I know you guys do this too. I have done the washing, I have hung it up, I have brought it in with the basket, and then I just have not put it away. Thing is though, next weekend I'm actually going to be meeting up with my mum and dad, so they're going to be giving me a bunch of old clothes that I left at theirs and I didn't even realise. So I need to put away what I have so that I have room to then sort through this other stuff that they're giving me. So yeah, let's do that. So I sorted my laundry and got everything put away nice and neatly, and oh boy does it feel good to actually have my clothes in drawers even if they are looking rather full. Okay, so clothes are sorted, boxes that I did have stacked over there I've now moved over here so that I can actually access my clothes, because I have moving boxes because we're moving soon, so that's going to be a thing. I'm going to actually have to use those at some point. Now though, I have all this fabric at the end of my bed, and the reason it is at the end of my bed and not in storage downstairs where it normally lives is because the other day Sherlock decided to bring in a live mouse, which has escaped and I can't find it. And last time we had this, they made nests and chewed lots of holes in my nice fabric, so I've just brought all the fabric that was on the shelving upstairs so that there's nothing in any of the near the floor kind of boxes. And I have this old suitcase, so just for now I'm just going to pop everything in the old suitcase and the suitcase can go back on the floor where it lives. Cats, guys, who'd have them. Sorting the fabric took a little longer as I wanted to try being the main word there, to have some kind of organisational system, but honestly this is me, that does not work, and in the end they just went into whatever drawer they fit into, with the fabric I had projects in mind for going closer to the top. So the bed is now reset for me and the cats. I love using my bed as a sorting area because it's just so comfy to lie on. Ugh. Anyway, it's about, I don't know what time it is. It's dark. It's also England in winter, so it could be just like 3 PM. I think it's a bit later than that though. So I am going to get changed into my PJs, do some pyjama sewing because I'm always more productive when I wear my pyjamas, which is the one downside of doing these videos where I wear like vintage clothes or handmade clothes for a week, because I genuinely work so much better when I'm in my PJs. It can be any PJs, but it's just in my PJs. So yes, I'm gonna go get changed, and with that I will see you guys tomorrow. Good night! Do I even need to explain my Nemo dress? Okay, so the upstairs of my house is notoriously dark, which is one of those things. However, I need to start sorting through things at the end of the day, wanting to move soon. I need to start packing and getting rid of things. So I have a bag here for things going to the charity shop. I've got a box to put anything that I'm keeping but I don't immediately need. And I also need to go through a suitcase of fabric that I have and essentially clear out the suitcase so that I can then pack clothes in that I don't need now but I am going to take with me when I go. For the first few months we're not going to have any of our stuff, and that is very nerve-wracking. Supreme Supervisor Sherlock is now asleep. But oh my god, isn't he cute with his little bats? Packing up a house is never fun, and even though when I filmed this I had a while before moving, I was internally panicking as it's a lot of work for one person to do while balancing 2 jobs and sleep. But I got several boxes packed and shoved it all off to the side of my bed that day, where Lily soon took up her position guarding my packed possessions. There was more sorting, and honestly this just went on all day, but we got a good chunk done, and though it was far from completely sorted, I would definitely say it was a good start. Okay, so the one thing that I did not think about before packing everything up, which probably wouldn't have made a difference, but it would have been nice to have maybe come up with a plan beforehand, is that boxes take up a lot more room than when everything is neatly packed away in drawers, meaning that the entire this side of my bed is now no longer usable. Not ideal, especially because the next job on the list is actually going to be sorting out all of those fabric rolls, which I'm not going to do till next week. I have 3 large boxes left. I have 1 smaller box and a Sherlock, because of course we have a Sherlock. Overall, we're not doing too bad. Really, the next thing I need to sort out is going to be all of these clothes. However, it is Tuesday, I have a video that is due to come out tomorrow, and I've not filmed the outro. Oops. So we're going to go downstairs, we're going to have some dinner, and I'm going to put some makeup on, and I'm probably not going to put my clothes on again, so that'll be the end of the day. Next on the list was dinner, lunch, brunch, really, I suppose, as I have a habit of eating at weird times. So I've just had a realisation, which is that I actually need to change my shirt before I put my makeup on, because otherwise, when I put my shirt on, it's going to wipe all my makeup off because I'm wearing a turtleneck. A bit annoying. I don't have any other t-shirts that would work, so we're just going to change the shirt, and I'll leave the skirt on for the moment so that I'm still wearing homemade clothes. Okay, this is my face before putting on makeup. And this is my face with makeup. So I'm going to get changed. I will see you guys tomorrow for the last day of wearing my own clothes for a week, and until then, have a nice evening. Bye. And so the next day I put on my spider skirt because apparently a week is 8 days, not 7. Okay, so we are back from the doctor's and I think the next thing to do is make breakfast because I actually didn't have any before I went. And then we just need to give everything a hoover because I'm going to be cutting out some projects today. Yay! Okay, so I'm currently working on 2 cosplay Christmas videos. My kettle is boiling in the background, so sorry about the noise, but they are both just drying. So we have just oiled up the Victorian sewing box. That's looking really nice. That oil improved it tenfold. Cannot wait to try using that on a sewing machine. And we also have the knife, which at this point I think the mitre bond that I put up at the end just to stop it from poking through should have dried, and I just need to go around that with another lot of stitches. So overall we're doing really well. Oh, it's busy! So busy. I also was kind of hoping to get some editing done today, but before we start the editing I do need to pattern at least one other dress, maybe cut out some pieces, we'll see. I will see what happens. We're doing well though. Today is being productive, which is good because a lot of the days I have felt have not been very productive this week. This one is going well. Well guys, that is it. The week of me only wearing handmade clothes. Yes, I'm aware I cheated a little bit on my last day because this top was brought, but you know what? I paid £1 for it. $1 for it, which is even less than £1, and the skirt was homemade, and honestly the skirt is one of my favourite pieces I've ever made, so I just had to wear it. So though me wearing these clothes is over, my day is not. I am going to revert to pajama sewing goblin. However, what have I learnt during my week of only wearing clothes I have made myself? Well, for one, I seem to only own dresses. Other than my one set of overalls, I really don't think that I have done all that much towards actually making trousers, and that's something I need to definitely adjust for because I love wearing skirts, but trousers are a lot more convenient a lot of the time. I also have a lot of skirts and dresses, but not a lot of shirts, as we have found out here. So I think learning how to make myself a couple of nice t-shirts that fit me really well, or some blouses, would again be a really good choice in my life. Now, eventually, one thing that I'd love to do is to have a closet made up nearly entirely of my homemade clothes, and one day I can see this being a thing, especially because I'm quite good at making sure my clothes are easy to let in and out. However, right this second, if I were to get rid of everything else that I owned and only keep the things I'd sewn myself, I think I would genuinely struggle, not least of all because a lot of the things I wear are they're a look. Like even just this skirt, I got at least 2 comments on it today, and I only left the house once. My Edwardian dress is always a winner with everyone, but it is very noticeable, and sometimes that is great, and wearing those clothes make me feel amazing. Sometimes I just want to kind of be chill, and I don't want to have to be really standoutish in something that I wear. I just want to be comfortable. So that's certainly something that I need to keep in mind for the future, but that's okay. We live and we learn. The other thing that I've noticed also is that I don't have a lot of winter wear, particularly this week. The weather really did take quite a downturn throughout the week, and it's just kind of a bit of a thing where a lot of the things I own are summer style outfits. Now again, this is easily remedied. I actually have some more winter clothing that I want to make. However, I just haven't got around to making it. The other thing I really want is I need some casual corsets or like casual stays, because I think I would rock those, but I have never actually made myself any, and I genuinely don't know why. Maybe because whenever I do a corset it's always for a costume, but yeah, it's fine. So yes, aims for next year are to make myself some trousers, to make myself like a cardigan jumper thing that's very neutral and can go with nearly everything. It would be nice to try and make myself some underwear, but I'm not entirely sold on whether or not I actually think that's a good use of my time, considering that ball gowns are so much more pretty and interesting. And number 5 is that I think I need to cohesively plan a wardrobe, because at the moment I'm just making whatever the hell I want, which is amazing, but it means that I end up with lots of individual pieces that don't necessarily go together. So I think that it's about time I took my own advice, which is what I always tell people when they're making a wardrobe, which is to kind of plan a bit of a capsule closet and see if we can do that. Would I do it kind of vintage historical style? Yes, probably. I am genuinely not sure what style I would go for. I think that's going to have to be a project that I think a bit more about in the future. Certainly nothing for now me to worry about. However, overall I've enjoyed this week. I have loved people's reactions to the clothes that I've been wearing, and I think that this is definitely something I want to try doing in the future when I have a whole new batch of clothes that I can wear. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you drop it a like. Leave me a comment down below to tell me which one of my homemade outfits is my favourite. Have you guys seen all the videos where I make these, by the way? Because I think nearly every outfit does actually have a video that goes with it. And if you want to try me see this kind of thing again, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with everything that I'm posting. And I will see you next time. Bye!